And I will try and speak as loudly as I
We are now.
I call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Warrenville Public Library District for Wednesday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. It is 7:03 p.m. I do need to read the following and then I will take roll call. This meeting is held as a virtual meeting given that the Illinois governor has declared the coronavirus pandemic a disaster. I have determined that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of this disaster. Thank you. Trustee DeRocher.
Present.
Trustee Lazan.
Here.
Trustee Ritzika. Present. Trustee Stoll.
Present.
Trustee Warren.
Present.
Trustee Pika is also present. Trustee Richardson is absent. I would ask at this time for a motion to approve the agenda, but I am suggesting, as I believe Sandy did in her notes, to remove items 19 and 20.
So moved.
I move that, I second.
Okay, motion was made by Trustee Warren and seconded by Trustee Stoll to approve the agenda with revision. Trustee DeRocher.
Aye.
Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee Ritzika.
Aye.
Trustee Stoll.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Pika also votes aye. And tonight we have a presentation, a very exciting presentation. So I will turn the meeting over to Director Whitner. And I should have said that Director Whitner is in the room with Trustee Ritzika and I.
Okay, we're going to celebrate one of our employees who's been here 20 years, Sylvia Thompson.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Yeah, I'm going to promote you to a panelist, so maybe you can turn on your camera and we can see you. And then I'm going to ask Paul Doberston, Sylvia's manager,
Oh, how nice.
to say a few words. Yay! Everett! Thanks for joining us, Sylvia.
She's on mute.
I know.
No.
Don't listen.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
We
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Great. My name is Paul Doverson. I'm the Public Services Manager. I just wanted to recognize Sylvia Thompson for dedicating 20 years of service to the Warrenville Public Library. I wanted to share a few facts about Sylvia and also a few kind words from her fellow employees. She began her career with WPLD on March 26, 2001 as a part-time interlibrary loan clerk and then also assisted at the Adult Services Desk. In 2005, she applied and was rewarded a DuPage Library System LTA Student Scholarship to pursue her LTA at the College of DuPage. In 2009, she also worked in a temporary technical services clerk position, and she is now full-time librarian at the Adult Services Department. She applies for the Hotel Motel tax grants for the Sunday matinees. They're very popular. And she also assists Director Whitner with the summer concerts. For many years, she's attended the Warrenville Park District seniors events, and she coordinates a majority of the adult services programs that our members have loved attending over the years. I do have a comment from Diana Abraham. She has been a treasure trove of knowledge and information. She's in sync with her members and hosts amazing adult programs. She is so helpful and a great sounding board. She has a great rapport with her members and they trust her. Couldn't ask for a better colleague or friend. I have another comment from Julie Jesernick in the Youth Services Department. Sylvia was so welcoming when I started here at the library. She invited me to an event with the Historical Society right away, even though I wasn't able to go, but it made me feel so happy to have that sort of immediate welcoming approach. And then for myself, I appreciate all your help and hard work since I started as the Public Services Manager in 2019. Thank you for your years of service, and hopefully we have a lot more come. Thanks, Sylvia.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sylvia.
Can I say
Yeah.
a few words?
Absolutely.
Well, it's hard to believe that I've been at the library for 20 years. I guess as the saying goes, time flies when you're having fun. Something interesting, board member Cindy, we both started around the same time at the library. I think Cindy started a couple months before me. The past year has been very challenging, as you well know, and we all had to pivot, one of Sandy's favorite words, to adjust, and we've been doing our utmost best to make things work. I've learned so much, and I've met so many wonderful people during my years here. And there's been quite a few changes since I started, and for the most part, they have all been positive. I've been through 2 library renovations in my career there. Many thanks to the board members for having all of our best interests at heart. And also much appreciation to our director and management team for leading by example. A big shout out to the rest of my colleagues for your friendship, support, and sharing of knowledge. And most of all, it is my pleasure to know all of you, and I am honored to serve my community in such a positive way. Thank you.
Aw, thank you.
Well, Sylvia, we're happy to celebrate your 20 years at the library. Sorry we don't have any treats for you tonight. We didn't have anything delivered. But I'll have a certificate waiting for you here tomorrow. And again,
I have a vacation day tomorrow.
okay. Well, it'll be here when you come back. So
Okay, thank you. Looking
yeah.
forward to my next certificate, yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, you're welcome to stay if you like. Or you can leave the meeting anytime, whatever you choose to do. But thank you for taking time out of your night to come and let us say congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, great.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank
On
you,
behalf of the
Sylvia.
board, we wish you continued success, and thank you for all the wonderful things you do for our members, your fellow staff, and all of us. So congratulations, many more to you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you for always having a smiling face.
Well, you know, it's for you, Barbara. I don't smile for everyone.
Oh,
Just kidding.
Are we okay, Sandy?
Yep, we're okay. I'm just checking the trustee emails.
Okay, the next item is public comments, and is there, can you advise us?
I do not see any public comments that have come in through the trustee email account,
Okay,
and we don't have any members of the public here.
so moving on to the next item, correspondence.
I do not have any correspondence to share.
Okay, so then I will ask Secretary Lazan to read the consent agenda, please.
consent agenda. A, approve minutes of the February 17, 2021 regular board meeting. B, receive and file financial report for February. C, approve payment of invoices in the amount of $57,072.62 for the period of February 18th through March 17th, 2021, including electronic payments and checks 8128 through 8171. Previously written check number 8060 is voided. D, approve transfer of $160,000 from commercial checking account to operating checking account. E, approve non-residential library card participation for fiscal year 2022, utilizing the tax bill method for calculation of non-resident fee and 15% calculation for non-resident renters. F, approve 1.7% market adjustment to wage scale effective July 1st, 2021.
Can I have a motion, please?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
I second.
Motion was made by trustee Stoll and seconded by trustee Rizika. Any discussion? Trustee DeRocher,
Aye.
trustee Luzon,
Aye.
trustee Rizika. Trustee Stoll,
Aye.
trustee Warren,
Aye.
trustee Tika also votes aye, the motion carries. There are no items for the regular agenda, and I don't believe there's any unfinished business. So we will move on to new business and direct your attention to page 23 in your packet, which is to discuss resume normal compensation practices. So we need a motion and then we'll have discussion.
I move that we resume compensation practices as outlined in the employee handbook and related policies.
I'll second.
Motion was made by trustee Stoll and seconded by trustee Rizika. There discussion, questions for the director? Okay, hearing none, then we'll take our voice vote, roll call vote. Trustee Warren,
Aye.
trustee Stoll,
Aye.
trustee Rizika. Aye. Trustee Luzon,
Aye.
trustee DeRosa,
Aye.
trustee Tika also votes aye, motion carries. Page 24 in your packet is a discussion only item to get the sense of the board on returning to in-person board meetings, beginning with our April meeting. And if you have not had a chance to look at page 24, Director Whitner has done a great job of outlining what it would look like. And if there is a good thing in there, if the board chooses to return to in-person meetings, as long as a quorum of the board, which means 4 of us, are physically in the library, the other board members may request to attend remotely for one of the following reasons. So, discussion, questions, concerns?
Go ahead, you raised your hand.
My question is, how many of the staff have had their vaccinations and how many of the board members have had theirs?
We are not asking staff who have been, who has and has not been vaccinated.
Okay.
We're not mandating that. I can tell you that.
I'm just looking for everybody's safety
I understand.
before we start getting a bunch of people together.
Right. And we would limit, it would probably just be board members, possibly some members of the public in the room. I can tell you, I have not been vaccinated. I'm not eligible until the 1C comes up, unless DuPage County chooses to include librarians in an earlier group.
Oh, they're not?
They have not added us to an earlier group at this time.
I've had one shot.
I've had both.
I've had one.
Tomorrow is my vaccine victory today. Tomorrow, I'm both done with 2 and 2 weeks. So 1, 2, and 2 weeks. Sandy, would it be appropriate for the public to sit out by a monitor as opposed to in the same room with the board?
It could be, we can accommodate them in this room, so I don't know that we would be able to say, you have to sit outside, but it's limited. I mean, I think we could accommodate 2 or 3 additional people here at a distance.
All right.
I have a question. If we do decide to resume in April, the Zoom option won't be an option.
You know what, I believe, are you asking about the Zoom option, I guess, for the public or for the board and staff?
for the board?
So the Zoom option would be, it would be an option if we had 4 people physically present in the room, 4 trustees. Then we have a quorum, and then we use our policy about remote attendance. So you could make a request due to one of the 3 reasons outlined on page 24, a personal illness or disability, which at this time could be a pandemic-related concern about your health. I think the state is lenient with that as a reason for not being able to attend. And then there's other reasons, be it family or other emergency or employment purposes. So the basic answer to that question is, as long as we have 4 people, 4 trustees here present at the library, we would probably have a Zoom meeting. In fact, that ability to access, in fact, I would expect that most of the staff would continue to attend from a remote location. And I would expect that we would continue to offer it as something that the public could call into if they want.
Okay,
I would expect, though, that if it says a family or other emergency, that as long as they haven't declared the pandemic over, it's still an emergency.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't think there's any question that we would approve that.
Right.
Someone who does not feel comfortable, should we determine that it's an on-site meeting, if that's the reason for someone not wanting to come, I think, as a board, that would be the only logical course to proceed. So I guess we need to know, we have 2 board members who have been regularly coming. Are there 2 other board members who are interested or willing or wanting to attend in April? Assuming everything stays as it is, so.
I'm willing.
I'm willing. I mean, I'll be masked and we're sitting 6 feet apart, so I don't have a problem.
Wear your mask, and you will have to be socially distant. So I see Rick, Heather, and did I hear Barbara?
Yep.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm thinking that we should plan for an on-site meeting. However, if you change your mind, please let us know ahead of time. Because we need at least 2 people. Otherwise, we'll have to make it a Zoom. Yeah, but there's 2, we need 2 more.
So then, Sandy, what that means is if, or anyone actually, if you're not comfortable attending at the library for some reason, just let me know that. And we will put into the agenda the point at which, we say that one of the trustees has requested to attend remotely for whatever reason, and then the board can vote to allow them to participate from a remote location.
Yeah, I haven't been I'm eligible for the vaccine. I just have not been able to get it.
I think we all understand that 100%. So.
And I would encourage anyone who does not feel comfortable, that's why I asked Sandy to put this in the board packet and to give you a heads up on it. If you do not feel comfortable stating your preferences in this meeting, please don't hesitate to give me a call, so we know. I understand, even though I have both sides, that mentally it's a good thing, but it's still a scary sometimes. So I get that. Anything else to discuss on this issue? Okay, then I think we have an answer for you.
I think so. Yep.
Next up, page 25 is a report from our director.
I just have to give my thanks to Kathy Gatus for working and getting the website up and running. She really just took this on and made it happen with help from a few other people here. So hopefully you get a chance to look at that. If you have any concerns about anything, feel free to, you can shoot me an email, you can talk to any of the staff. We have a log that we're keeping track of things. But knock on wood, so far so good. We tried to keep it simple. so that it's easier to maintain. Easier, not easy. I will tell you that. It's not an easy task to keep track of everything else. But with less content on the website, it's a little bit more, I don't know, easy to wrangle everything. Swan has, their board, I believe, has not yet approved the budget, but the membership has approved the budget. So our membership fee next year for Swan is going to be just under $30,000. That's right about where we expect it to be, so that's good news. We're going to be participating in the group purchase of some databases. And the cost for those, I think I got the number right, 18 databases, is just under $6,100. On our own, you can see we paid a little bit more than that last year for just 6 of those databases. So it is cost effective to participate in this group purchase. However, we do have to make sure that people are actually using those databases. So we're doing some outreach efforts to make sure people are aware of those databases. Staffing, just last week, yes, last week, that's fine. We posted for 2 of our vacant positions that are open, a full-time adult services librarian position and a part-time youth services associate position. And we have received quite a few applications for those positions. So Paul and I will be reviewing those. We're probably going to hire, I have here 2 part-time member services openings. I think it's only going to be 1. But we're looking toward expanding our hours just a little bit in the summer so that our hours are consistent Monday through Friday. So that's what we're reaching for in the summer. And then in the summertime, we'll hire some more people, hopefully, so that we can go back to normal hours sometime in the fall. So we're looking forward to that. There's information here about COVID. Again, that's where I explained, that we're looking to expand our hours in June. And there's a little bit about the fact that rails reduced the quarantine time for materials. So we're checking in our materials a little bit faster than we were a month ago at this time. And then some of you probably heard about the controversy surrounding the Dr. Seuss books. I do have most of ours. I'm still waiting for one to come back. They're in my office temporarily until we decide what we want to do with those. Many libraries are keeping them in their collection, but they are keeping them in a reference collection for in-library use only, simply because there has been theft of these items from libraries. Libraries have found the barcodes and the security tags for these titles in their bathrooms, and they are gone because on eBay they sell for a lot of money. But I suspect that that will calm down, and we'll review with our collection development policy whether we want to keep them or not. I think there may be some value to people who are interested in studying them for historical purposes, keeping them in our reference collection, but we'll have to discuss that as a team and decide what our options are for that. I think that's it.
I have a question on the databases that
Yeah.
are now purchasing through Swan. When will those be available? And do you have off the top of your head any information on what the range, how they differ from the 3 we had before?
So they are already on our website because Swan let us access those, I think, for free. Paul could probably correct me on that. As part of our startup membership, they included us there. So there were things, the ones that we had are things like consumer reports, there's an auto repair center, there are some for readers advisory tools that mainly our staff uses. Let's see, I pulled up our site on my. I'm sorry, I don't know. That's okay. So if you're on our website, there's a quick link section on the right side, and then there's a link for search database. All right, I should probably have asked Paul this. There's a hobbies and crafts reference center, a history reference center, a newspaper source, consumer health, business source, consumer reports. There's a vocational and career collection, a literary reference center, and an academic search premier is actually, if you wanted to research something, it's a full text database of periodicals, magazines, and journals. So there is a lot.
Sounds like it's across the board.
There.
I was just curious whether we're heading in one direction.
No, it's a variety, and Paul had a discussion with his staff to choose from a longer list of items. So they chose things that they felt would be helpful for our community and interesting.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Director Whitner?
I just put a question on Swan.
Mhm.
Is the 30,000 going to be consistent, or is this something that is going to fluctuate over time, either as, say, more libraries join, or I don't know if I guess the expense is going to go down?
I don't think the expense will go down. It could go up. I
Okay.
don't know if it fluctuates. They seem to be pretty steady. They have good planning in place for reserve funds similar to the library. So when they have a big capital expense for equipment or software, they've built up a reserve fund for those major purchases. It's reasonable. The one thing that could cause us to fluctuate a little bit is the state library provides grants for these consortiums.
Okay.
So in this coming year, they expect to have a $5,000 credit for the library from that state grant. They also received some money, I believe, from Rails, from the library system. And this year, Rails actually changed their funding calculations for the library system. So Swan actually lost some funding based on the changes, those calculations. So those are the things that really can impact it. But I expect this to be about pretty steady going forward. I
Okay.
think we were paying about $26,000, I believe, for a previous system. So this is a little more, but there are savings in other areas that kind of make this a wash, I would say. Not that we're saving money, it's just that we are pretty much having a wash here between what we were paying for the software plus other services and things.
Well, we may be having a watch, but we're offering more to our members.
Correct. Yes. And from the statistics, maybe you can see that we received, what do you see? Other library items that were checked out here at our library in February, 1,500 items. So that was pretty good, that whole resource sharing process that brought items into the library. And you may recall we had a hiccup with ordering, receiving new items. That has finally resolved itself. Our vendor, in addition to our delay in ordering, our vendor is having some staffing issues, probably still are having staffing issues, that delayed the processing of some of our books. So over the last 2 weeks, I asked Gail to reach out to me, but I know we received at least 15, if not 20 full boxes of books.
Oh, no.
Yesterday and today we started receiving some adult fiction, and we're filling the holes for those new and popular titles. So we have crossed the bridge on that challenge. Yeah.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions or comments for Director Whitmer on her report? If not, we will move on to departmental reports. Katie, I really have to say I like the new statistic snapshot. Now, will you be eliminating January when you report the, if you know what I'm trying to say, the next quarter, we just keep going?
I'm thinking we'll keep going with those monthly statistics. It may rotate the page a little bit, but hopefully you'll be able to see, you know, I would love to get 12 months
That's where I'm going.
visible for everything. Even 13, so you can see what it was the same month last year. That's the goal.
And I do have another question related to Jancy's report. I noticed in the expenses, and maybe we discussed this previously, and I just am not remembering, approximately $5,000 for the elevator. That was an issue.
So that was not an issue. We pay that as an annual maintenance fee.
Annual maintenance fee.
That they monitor our elevator for problems and for some annual maintenance.
And then was that a replacement water heater? Were we leaking or?
It's a water softener, I
Oh,
believe.
no, it's softener, you're right. Yeah.
And is it empty?
No, it was a check.
The check, yes. Our water softener went bad, so that's getting fixed.
Excellent.
Replaced. It's 12 years old, so. In Warrenville,
That's good for a while.
water softener for 12 years, that's pretty good. Water so hard.
And thanks again to Kathy for all the hard work on the website. It is very easy to use. So thank you and your team. And any questions for any of the managers on the departmental reports? Any questions from the board? I would just like to point out as I was reading them that you definitely can see the management working with the team. There is a lot of work with so-and-so, work with so-and-so, and I think that's a great thing. There's not silos, there's people working together. So, even despite the difficult times. All right, so we have the election before our next board meeting. So vote for Barbara. And then we will have our meeting on April 21st. There is a question to the board on page 38. Would you like to have a committee of the whole meeting in April where the entire budget is discussed? Or the other option is to have a discussion during the regular board meetings in April and May with final approval in June.
I know I like to have the committee of the whole meeting, but I know it's not always possible to start at 6, and maybe just because of us being in person for the first time, maybe it would be better to split it into 2 and have the discussion in April and May during the regular board meeting.
Done that way in the past, am I correct?
We've generally had a committee of the whole meeting in April.
Yeah.
Where the whole budget is discussed. And then there may be some feedback I need from you in May, which happens during the regular board meeting or in June. My thinking is that I would like to have the department heads participate in presenting their budget to the board, talk a little bit about what their goals are for the year, if they're introducing anything new. So I was considering having 2 or 3 of them present in April, and then the rest present their information in May. And then we would consolidate that feedback into a final budget.
And we would then approve the budget in June.
The budget would be approved in June.
So based on what you're saying, we would meet as a committee of the whole at 6 in April, and then at 7 p.m. at the board meeting.
That is one way to do it. The other way to do it would just be to have those discussions during the board meeting. And you could opt to start the board meeting at 6:30. Or if you really want that committee of the whole meeting, we could go that route as well.
So feedback from the board.
I don't mind coming to a 6 o'clock meeting. I do like to try to get through the whole budget at once, just to take a snapshot of it. if you really want to break up having presentations from the staff, I guess that format won't work.
We don't need to do, the format would work. We could meet at 6 o'clock and we could each present our information. It may go a little longer than, we may start our board meeting a little later. That would be okay. If you feel it's best to just see the whole picture in one sitting.
I would actually prefer that.
Okay.
I tend to agree with Barbara, not hearing anyone
I'm in
else.
favor of coming at 6.
Okay, so anyone else on the call have opinions about a 6 o'clock in April?
Doesn't
Okay,
matter to
so,
me.
I'm sorry?
I don't have a preference.
Okay, so what I'm hearing now is we will start at 6 on April 21st with the budget. Are we calling a committee of the whole meeting?
Yeah. We have a
And
committee
we
of the
will
whole.
cover the entire budget. And then we will have an in-person meeting of the trustees. The committee of the whole will also be in person
Yeah.
as well. Okay?
Can I'd like to interject that I'm very interested in hearing from the department heads.
I am too. I think that
But I feel like in the past, we've been able to get a sense from Sandy pretty quickly about what the department goals are or priorities are. So I'm wishing for I really do want to hear from the department heads. I'm wishing for the department heads to be succinct.
Okay, the department head ran this call. So I think that what we're going to try to do this time, we're not going to review every single detail of the budget, but we'll stick to those high points where we're putting the money into place to reach some of the goals in the strategic plan.
Yep, that'd be great.
that would be good. And I think too, any significant differences from the current budget might be addressed.
That's a good idea.
Whether they're negative or positive. Why is there such, and I'm not talking hundreds of dollars, I'm talking significant changes between what we've approved for this year and what we are asking us to approve for the following year. Okay.
It may
All
have-
right.
may have already been discussed, but we have the director evaluation coming up.
Coming up, closed session for the director's evaluation. It is on page 38.
No,
And we-
I'm just saying that that comes into yet
Timing.
more discussion. And if we overload 1 month, then we're gonna be shortchanging something on this discussion.
So I understand what you're saying, Rick, that if we have this long, I'm gonna rephrase this. If we have a long budget meeting early, and then the director's evaluation discussion is supposed to happen at the same meeting and the end of the meeting. Closed session. That's a lot of discussion. Would it be better to postpone the director's evaluation discussion to May?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that we need to do that. I really want to try to stay on our regular schedule. We got really far off last year. I'd like to try to stick to our schedule. I think that we just need to be mindful in creating the agenda that we don't overload the agenda with a lot of other things.
Okay, I think the only other thing on there is possibly the review circulation policy revision. Maybe that could be done in May instead.
I think that's a good compromise.
I'm gonna ask Jamie. Jamie, can you just unmute yourself? You don't have to change your camera. But would that be okay with you if we push the circulation policy revisions into May?
Yeah, I think that would be fine. Right now, I have just assigned a few to my staff this week, so I think they'd be happy to have more time to work over those as well. And I don't think anything is super urgent that we need it done as soon as possible. So I think pushing that to May is just fine.
Okay, so there we have it.
Okay, so in person, as board trustees on site if possible. April 21st, 6 p.m., committee of the whole, to discuss the first draft of the budget with participation by the department managers. And then directly following, we'll have our regular board meeting, which will include a closed session for the director's evaluation. Good?
Good.
Okay, we're good. Then we will move on to page 39, which is the treasurer's report. Trustee Stahl?
Okay, well, we'll go over several things. First of all, the county clerk's office is currently calculating the tax rate for the 2020 levy. And Director Whitner has confirmed the levy amounts are correct. So she expects to receive the extension and the information at the end of this month. And then return to the clerk's office if any adjustments. So the final extension amounts are released in April, so hopefully in time for us preparing the budget. And then again, we received that letter regarding the energy, and Director Whitner confirmed that most of the winter it's been 32 therms per month. It's jumped to 1.16 therm or dollars per therm. So it was 32 cents and it went up to $1.16 per therm. So
Woo.
a huge jump. The other good news is we got our annual distribution from the WPLD funded DuPage Foundation. It was $1,100 and it was helped to offset the expenses related to the pandemic, like the bags for the curbside pickup. So that's my report.
Thank you.
So what kind of an increase, Heather? I mean,
What?
that jump, what does that represent in dollars, like total dollars?
I'm not sure. Oh, go ahead.
I can answer that. So last month's bill, the bill for January, keep in mind, January wasn't as cold as February, but our gas supply bill in January was $822.
Hold on to something there.
Oh, yeah, hold on. You're saying, hold on. You're all sitting down. The bill for February supply was almost $4,000.
Oh,
So, and this is related, Rick, I might email you this letter that we got because it was interesting. Or I might send it in the mail to you, that might be better. It all had to do with the breakdown of the energy supply in the south. Some of our natural gas usually gets purchased from that area. And when Texas started sucking supply away from other areas, the prices just went through the roof. Our supplier actually ended up getting some at a very reasonable price compared to what gas was selling for from some Canadian suppliers. So if anybody's interested in seeing this memo, I'm happy to share it with you.
Are we expecting that to level off from March?
I would hope it will drop the accounting. I have not heard what we can expect. I can reach out to him and see how things are going right now. But yes, I think this was a temporary spike in the price of natural gas.
Okay.
Over that President's Day weekend. So, and it really spiked. It really spiked. So let's hope it's a one-time occurrence.
Did somebody leave the fireplace on?
No,
was it
No.
due to the flooding in Texas and all the natural disasters?
yes, it's due to the cold, really the
Yeah.
cold weather in Texas and a lot of that energy supply. I think that our usage was right on target with what the weather was. It's that the price per therm for the gas supply just went crazy through the roof.
Okay.
So,
We're not in
I don't think-
Texas. They had like $30,000 bills.
right. So thank goodness we didn't. have
Wow.
that. Yeah. I don't know. I
Okay.
don't think, I'm waiting to watch, I'm watching my personal, like my night board bill. because now I'm concerned that it may roll into that even. So we'll see. Anyhow, that was fun. A fun little memo to get, and then the bill came this week. Ouch.
Okay, are there any other comments, questions, or concerns about the treasurer's report? If not, I'll ask trustee Lezan, secretary's report.
Everything looks good.
Excellent. And at this time, let's turn the meeting over to trustee DeRocher, trustee Warren, for a report from the Personnel Committee on Director Whitner's annual evaluation.
Okay, well, so everybody got a copy of Sandy's self-evaluation. Sandy, I want to thank you for the thoroughness of your self-evaluation. This must not be an easy task to complete every year, and I appreciate how thorough you are in your self-evaluation. So,
Here.
as you all will recall, you're going to get an email from me that will have a link to a survey that you'll be asked to fill out by April 1st. And I probably will send a reminder email just before April 1st, because I won't really know who's done it and who's not. So I'm just going to be sending everybody a reminder email as well. I'm going to try to get this out either tonight or tomorrow, and then I'll be sending a reminder email before April 1st. And then if you could get your results in, and then Rick is going to compile them and send us all, or actually, are you going to send us the information, Rick, or are you going to be giving it to us in hard copy?
I'll give it to you in hard copy. That's the way I did it last year, and that worked out pretty well.
Okay.
I'd like to point out, though, that you say April 1st like it's months away, but it's only about a week and a half.
Yep, it's not far.
So don't put it on the back burner.
Right. Is anybody unsure about this process? It's pretty much the same process we've used for the last 2 years. And it was actually very recently that we did it because we did Sandy's evaluation so late in the last fiscal year. Did you have a question, Sandy? Lizanne? No, okay. Anyway, so it should look familiar to everybody, and we will get things out to you. I just have a question for clarification for Sandy, and I wondered if anybody else had this question for clarification. At the very end of your self-evaluation under other comments, you talk about this request for an extended paid break. And at the very last line says, I request this as time off in addition to my usual paid leave. So you're asking for your 4 weeks of paid leave and an additional 4 weeks?
Right, well, part of my reason for asking that is because I continuously worked during the first month of the pandemic. I actually lost 3 to 4 weeks of vacation time. I didn't earn any vacation during that period because I had maxed it out. So
Okay.
yes, I was asking for that in addition to my usual paid leave.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that. All
Yeah.
right. And that would all be taken within the next fiscal year?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would ensure that things here were taken care of for that absence. It would, it would be at a time where we weren't doing the budget or the ordinances or anything of a, important nature such as that. And I'd make sure that whatever the managers who were here were able to handle any situations that came up. I actually discussed this a bit with Jerry, and she suggested even I could reach out to one of my colleagues at another library, so that if something did come up, and the intent of this is for me to just totally step away from my duties here for a break, But then maybe perhaps a library director in a neighboring library would be able to assist if a question came up that needed to be addressed and I was not available to respond.
Okay. Of course.
Are still planning to give plenty of advance notice for if this were to go through of your time that you wish to take off.
Yes. Yes.
And my last thought would be, would any of your managers be able to take time off during your leave?
I think that it would depend on the manager and it would depend on what else is happening at the time. Okay. I think perhaps an extended leave, perhaps not, a day or two here or there, that would be okay. I think it depends on the individual and what else is happening in the life.
Just want to put it out there.
Yep, good thought.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to ask for that clarification.
Sure.
Trustee DeRocher, should the trustees have any questions, who is the point of contact, you or Rick, or how do you want to proceed?
I'm sorry, I'm having a really hard time hearing you, Jerry. I didn't hear that whole exchange you just said, and I didn't hear your question.
I feel like I'm screaming. I was asking if the trustees have any questions, either who is the point of contact, you or Rick?
Probably either one of us, but I can certainly be the point of contact if you wish. If it has to do with the actual survey itself, probably me.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure everybody was clear if they had questions. All right, anything else from the committee or anything from the board to the committee? All right, if not, I'll move on to item 17. Are there any additional comments from trustees?
On what?
Item 17.
Item 17, trustees' comments.
Yes, there's an election coming up on the 6th, and I hope everybody's planning on attending that after they've finished their director's evaluation.
I'll be attending that all day at the courtyard, being an election judge.
I'll see you there. No, I won't. I'm there early. I'm there for early vote.
All right. Any other trustee comments? And I'll just say, if you think it's hard to hear me, it's hard to wear this mask the whole time too, trust me. Items for information or discussion with no action proposed. Okay, then, if not, I would look for the last motion of the evening, please.
I move we close it down.
I second.
Motion was made by trustee Warren and seconded by trustee Rustica that our meeting is adjourned. Trustee DeRocher,
Aye.
trustee Lazan,
Aye.
trustee Rustica,
Aye.
trustee Stoll,
Aye.
trustee Warren,
Aye.
trustee Pika also votes aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.